Ukraine hit Moscow with a massive drone strike overnight as Secretary of State Marco Rubio was meeting a high-level Ukrainian delegation for peace talks in Saudi Arabia. The split screen of 2 Russians killed conflicted with Rubio confirming Tuesday that the U.S. may restart intelligence sharing and military support of Kiev. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky avoided a run-in with Rubio, but had a positive meeting with Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, posting, quote, "I am grateful for his wise perspective on global affairs and support for Ukraine." This is Zelensky. "It was especially important to hear words of confidence in Ukraine's future."
On Monday, Elon Musk called Democratic Senator Mark Kelly a traitor after the Arizona senator posted a picture of himself during his visit to Ukraine. Kelly pounced on Musk, posting on X, "Traitor? Elon, if you don't understand that defending freedom is a basic tenet of what makes America great and keeps us safe, maybe you should leave it to those of us who do." Meanwhile, national security analyst and author Joe Cirincione condemned Trump's pro-Putin stance. In his recent Substack, Cirincione tore into what he calls Trump's lies, writing, quote, "After a few weeks of posturing by pretending that he was going to be tough on Putin, Trump has reverted to his natural obsequious position, flattering the murderous dictator and letting loose a torrent of lies about Ukraine, its leaders, and the war."
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We really do have good news tonight. 3 years ago, when Russia invaded Ukraine, I honestly feared that Ukraine wouldn't last more than about 17 minutes, given the supposed size of Russia, their supposed strength, and their supposed advanced military capabilities, up against a small little country who was barely eking by an economy, had a broken nuclear reactor called Chernobyl sitting in their backyard, and we're a peaceful farming community. I remember the morning of the attack when CNN had videotape of local farmers being issued guns and ammunition, and that was going to be their militia. I didn't think they would last 17 minutes. I underestimated the people of Ukraine and their leader, Mr. Zelensky. Apparently, Russia and Donald have underestimated him also, because he struck at the heart of the Russian country, striking Moscow, having had 300 of their drones shot down, still managed to get a couple of hundred more in and start hitting things, and to listen to Russian TV go, "Oh, we're so appalled that he struck public buildings."
Russian officials say 3 people have been killed in the Moscow region in one of the largest ever Ukrainian drone attacks on the Russian capital. Russia's defense ministry says it shot down over 300 drones across the country. The Kremlin condemned the early morning attack and accused Ukraine of intentionally targeting civilian homes.
The moment of impact, one of many in and around Moscow and around Russia. The country's defense ministry said it shot down 337 Ukrainian drones overnight, at least 90 in the Moscow region. But some made it through, hitting apartment blocks and parking lots. Also in the early hours, Russian drones attacked the Ukrainian port city of Odessa. Officials say a fuel tank was hit, a children's toy warehouse, and other structures. Analysts believe both Russia and Ukraine are looking to improve their positions for negotiations, including those taking place in Saudi Arabia between top Ukrainian and U.S. diplomats. Before that meeting, Marco Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State, told reporters he was looking to see what concessions Ukraine is willing to make.
Yeah, well, you get back what you give in this world. There's an old saying for us kids in the playground: if you can't catch, don't try to pitch. Well, Russia tried pitching when they weren't able to catch, and that was a problem. Or you could call it, the FAFO result. As a part of the deal for peaceful talks, Vladimir has said that he will immediately begin a 30-day ceasefire as long as he hears from Putin that Putin accepts the deal. 30 days is not a lot of time. For those of you who remember the Paris peace talks between Vietnam and the United States, it took many, many 30-day deals. I can remember a friend of mine who was in the military that had to leave country every time the senators wanted to go and have peace talks in Paris. He was gone a lot. Ukraine's ready to start talking, and they're willing to stop shooting, Zelensky also says. I think Russia might be interested in that because I'm not thinking the residents of Moscow ever thought that they were going to get drones dropped on them or bombs dropped on them or have their fuel depot stations blown up in the middle of the night because Mr. Putin decided he wanted to start an unjust war. I don't think he's going to be real popular at home tonight. As part of the plan for the peace talks, the U.S. has agreed to return military intelligence back to Ukraine. It was stopped the other day. Donald pulled it and said that he's not giving them any more intelligence as to what's going on around the world. You know, I want to stop there for just a second and remind everybody that there's the 9 eyes, the 5 eyes, and I believe it's called the 19 eyes, along with Israeli intelligence. Israeli intelligence, I believe, is a part of those 2 of those 3 groups. Donald may have pulled his intelligence, which I would bet is limited because nobody trusts him, but I don't think the rest of the world pulled their intelligence. I think Zelensky had information coming in all that time, and I think that's how he was able to get a drone strike out so hard and so quickly overnight. But Donald's offering back our intelligence, which, you know, that and what is it, $2 now will get you a cup of coffee. He also said he would return security intelligence. I've been around long enough to know that I can't trust anything Donald says. Why would Zelensky trust him? Donald has made some rather amazing requests for peace talks. One of the points that he wants is that he wants $500 billion worth of minerals as payment for support during the war. He wants payback. That's a lot of money. I haven't yet dug through, but by the time I publish this podcast, I'm going to put right down here across the front what it cost us, what we sent over. And I got a feeling it's not going to be $500 billion that he wants back. Now, he wants that back in mineral, gas, oil, and uranium. Okay, that's Donald knows that strategically our military needs the assets. And with Canada having cut us off from the uranium and not happy with us, yeah, that's going to be a problem. Donald has to diversify, but he's diversifying under duress. He's got to do it during wartime with somebody else. Economically and militarily and strategically, we really do need assets like that. We do need the uranium. We do need a few other precious minerals that Vladimir Zelensky has inside his country. Geopolitically, you could say that if the United States, at any other time in history except right now, if the United States went into Ukraine and made a deal with them separate from NATO, because Donald doesn't want Ukraine in NATO, he's voted against them, and as most of you probably understand, the NATO nations stand together. If one nation votes down no on a membership, then that country doesn't get in. It has to be a unanimous vote. But I digress. If Donald were to get in and actually do something legitimate and create a peace accord with Ukraine that Ukraine could trust and would believe in and would share intelligence, have military safety and securities in exchange for billions, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of precious minerals that we need for our own country, well then, yeah, that would be a great thing. But let me draw the picture here for you. You've got Putin over here, you got Zelensky over here, and you got Donald in the center who wants something. And the minute he doesn't get what he wants, or he thinks that he doesn't get what he wants, what do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's a safe ally? Would you let him watch your back? I wouldn't let him watch my backyard for security. Not even close. I wouldn't let him anywhere near me. But I digress. That's what he's offering, that geopolitical strength that the Ukraine people could rely on, that could count on. And I think they're already aware of what they can and can't count on. Okay? Ukraine is in a very good position with its minerals, with its natural resources, and with its people and its determination to stay an independent sovereign nation. They don't need Russia. They don't want Russia. Russia came to them. Zelensky only wants the people out. Do you really think that Donald is going to help Putin walk away with nothing? Do you think that Putin, an ex-KGB general, is going to walk away with nothing? No, he's not going to. Donald's going to have to give him something, and it's going to be something that Donald doesn't own because, you know, Donald's the deal maker. Donald's the guy that's only bankrupted 6 different casinos, been sued for 34 different counts and been found a convicted felon, been found to be a convicted sexual offender. And you're going to trust him to make a deal for you for peace. God, how desperate are people. But we have the Saudis involved. We have their crown prince, who I don't trust any farther than I could throw his body. But he's involved, and he's flattering Zelensky lately, and I'm not sure whether that's good or bad. But the Saudis have an interest in seeing peace in the area. They don't want war at their back door. Nobody wants war at their back door, let alone the Saudis. They've been living the lap of luxury for decades now. They went from being a nation covered in sand to a nation standing on oil reserves that the world wants. They don't want anything but peace in their neighborhood. That's why they're also playing with the game up in with the Hamas and with the Palestinian army on the Gaza Strip. They don't even have their own standing army. We are their standing army. So with that, folks, I'm going to end it here. I'm going to hope that everything goes through. I'm going to stay on top of this. I'm going to follow it through. And if that means that I have to put out a second podcast during the day, I will get one out. But I digress. I'm hoping the best for Vladimir Zelensky and his people. On the opening night of that war, I didn't give you a chance. I really didn't. My money was all on the other guy because I didn't think anybody could stand up to him. I want to remind everybody that we at Unscripted Political Discourse support the 50-51 nonviolent protests, marches, and events. We're here to help them in any way we can. They had an event out in Los Angeles today. It's a Women's Day event, and it was just amazing. What I could see on the video clips, they really got to turn out. If you get a chance, 50-51, that's 50501 in any browser, and it will take you to their site. They have a list of all their events. They have a list of everything that they're promoting. And they also have another site that's associated with it that you can look up events happening in your local area by putting in your state and then your local city, and it'll bring up events nearby you. I encourage you to support them. As always, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If you've made it this far, just do me one more favor. Just hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up and help me keep building this channel. I would truly appreciate it. All the rest of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.